Oh, hello. I think there is at least a couple of people here. Welcome, welcome. This is the first live stream I've done since 2021 or something like that. So I thought it was about time I came back online and did a bit of a live stream and connected with you all. So drop me something in the chat. Let me know you're here. That would be great. And I will be talking a little bit about this today, my experience of it over the last wee while, and ask any questions that you might have about it. Don't know if I'll necessarily have the answers, but perhaps like experientially what it's like, or any kind of like questions around what I think about the quality or how to do particular things with it. All good. And all really good ideas for me to be kind of thinking about when I'm making videos over the next week or so. I also want to talk a little bit about what I think Insta360 are up to these days, and how I think about them as a company, which is really interesting. I think they're a very interesting, innovative company, but I think you need to kind of like bear a couple of things in mind with them. So, who's here? I've got at least a couple of people here. One other person came in and then went out again, probably wrong place. Don't know. Say hi in the chat. I'm just drinking my coffee. It is 8 o'clock here now in Wellington in New Zealand. I'd love to know where you're joining me from. It's a cold grey day here. It's going to be a rainy weekend, unfortunately. I'm taking the day off today. You may have noticed that I've been putting videos out every day since June 27th, when the Go3 was launched, and it is now July the 8th over here. And so, yeah, I'm taking a day off, taking the doing a little bit of work tomorrow, but our next video will be out Monday morning, our time, New Zealand. So it's Sunday, probably somewhere at some time in the rest of the world. Hey, Erin George, stumbled onto your videos a few days ago. Welcome, welcome. Really glad that you're here. I really appreciate the few I've seen about the Go3. Can you talk a bit about the Go3 workflow? How much realistically video time can it hold on 64 gigabytes? Good question. I guess it depends a bit upon how you plan using it. So my normal workflow is very much mobile, but in order to show you the best abilities of the Go3, I've been processing on desktop using ProRes, which produces gigantic files to use, but it is the best quality. And I do all my editing on mobile. I do it all on my iPad, and that includes making the videos that you've been watching for YouTube. I use a program. I did try Final Cut Pro for iPad for a little while. Didn't think it was all that great. Okay, but I use LumaFusion. Have done pretty much since I started the channel. I did a little bit of kind of like Adobe Premiere Pro, but I didn't really like being changed to a desktop. Anyway, long story short, my mobile workflow is what I normally use with the Go2, X2, X3, 1X. That's what I normally do, reframing some of that 360 video. What I really appreciate about the Go3 is that I don't have to process through the app. I can get the 2.7K video with the stabilization that looks really good, I think. On anything above standard looks great. And drop that straight into my iPad Pro using a USB data cable, which I got with my Samsung T7 SSD. One of these tiny things, which I use with my iPad Pro, which is a 256 gig one. So that saves me a lot of time. In terms of how much can it hold on 64 gig, of all the videos that I've been making, I'm probably about maybe half full on that. So I think it's actually quite good. If I was away for a whole weekend and I was really hitting it hard and making a load of videos or just capturing a load of footage to make videos later, I think I'd have to be a little bit careful about, a little bit mindful about how much video I was actually collecting. Now, I'm not really sure about yet about how much space 1440p free frame video takes compared to 2.7K video. It's a good point. I need to look at that in a little bit more detail. But I guess with 64 gig, I would say you're going to be good for a long weekend away, possibly even a week away. But then you're going to need something to kind of like dump that footage off onto, either onto your phone or process it and clear the space. So yeah, 64 gigs, I think realistically it's holding hours of video, a couple of hours of video, I'd say. You may need to be judicious about sort of like quick capture and things like that. And sorry, not quick capture, but clip length that you're collecting. Now we know that Insta360 have a slightly strange thing that it stops collecting after 30 minutes and then starts a new file, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. But I don't tend to use it for big, long captures anyway. What I really hope that they do bring back is that sort of 15-second, 30-second clip length, which I just don't understand why that's not there anymore. That seems to be a real oversight problem, that they haven't kept that continuity with the Go2, Go3, which I'll talk a little bit more about maybe in a little while. Hey, Mike, nice to see you. Can the freeform video, I think it's called something else, free frame, I called it freeform once as well, it's an easy mistake to make, be edited on mobile? Yes, it can, quite easily. So it's the same workflow as on the Go and the Go2. The free frame video can just be edited on mobile, on iOS or Android. I have an iOS device. I have always had an iOS device. So all of my videos are kind of focused more on iOS rather than anything else. I can't really speak for Android. So yeah, I hope that helps. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Thank you for all your comments and engagement over the last week. It's nice to have you on the chat as well. I'm drinking a coffee here early in the morning. No worries, Johal. Thanks. I'm glad I helped. I tend to have maybe 2-3 coffees a day. I don't know about you people, if you drink coffee or not, but anything more than that, and it doesn't really sit that well with me. So this is the first one of the day. Does the Go3 free frame have any additional features over the Pro video on the Go2? It's a lost couple. I think now the maximum frame rate on free frame is 50 frames per second. I think it used to be 60. So yeah, that's not great, but it's kind of marginal. Like I tend to use 24 frames per second when I'm making videos for YouTube. So it kind of like, you can go half speed slow motion and it still looks okay. And that's one of the things I use 50 frames per second for. If I'm thinking maybe I'm going to use a little bit of this in slow motion, so maybe it's a street shot, I want to slow it down a little bit for a little bit more drama, then I use 50 frames per second on that. So yeah, there's a couple of things there missing. Other than that, no, I don't think so. But one of the things that Insta360 tends to do is that they make some of these changes via the app. So things like flash cut or stories or particular effects that you can do may be only limited to the Go3 rather than the Go2. As yet, I haven't seen anything that looks like that in the Flash Cut Studio on the mobile app. Everything that I've seen is applicable from the Go3 to the Go2. You can use both on cameras for any of those effects. So there's nothing differentiating it from that point of view. In terms of editing, I'm not seeing anything different apart from that frame rate difference, which is marginal, but a little bit disappointing that it's not 60 there as well. Hey, Danny, really good to see you as well. You can see me, I can't see you, but really good to see you here. Thanks for coming. Mike, I limit myself to 2 coffees a day, drink it all day. If not, yeah, that's the problem, right? Like even on that 3rd coffee, I'm like marginal about it. Most days, probably 3. Some days I'll have 2 and I'll stop there. Depends on the time. Like I don't drink anything after around 2:30, marginal 3 p.m. After 3 p.m., that's it. Hard cut off for coffee. Maybe a Coke Zero after that, but no coffees after hopefully 2 p.m. If it's been a bad night with the kids and I've been up all night or something like that, then maybe 3 p.m. Aaron Jot again. Do you realistically see difference in bitrate quality between free frame and standard video? Yes, I do. If you haven't seen it already, I've put a video out comparing free frame and 2.7K, not only in the Go3, but comparing that 2.7K on the Go3 with the Pro video, what is now free frame video on the Go2 as well. So you can see for yourself. Now, for me, I do see that difference. I think it does faces better on the Go3. I think it gets that kind of like tone a little bit better. And I do think the quality is better. It's not like massively different, but I do see a difference there that I can, excuse me, appreciate with the naked eye. It's a little bit different when I guess when you're trying to see it on screen, particularly if it's on a small screen. But I'd encourage you to look at that on a little bit of a big screen, because I processed that 2.7K and the 1440p is in ProRes and it's all rendered in 4K. For about 2 years, I couldn't get YouTube to accept my 4K videos, but I fixed that problem. So all of my Go3 videos, you'll notice, are available to watch in 4K, which is just fantastic. It was driving me insane. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Danny, how would you compare the new mics on the Go3 to the mics on an iPhone? That's really interesting. So in the iPhone, it does a whole load of stuff in the background around things like directional focus, trying to eliminate some of that background noise. And now you can get things like voice focus and other sort of modes on the iPhone that you can intentionally choose. There was all some of that stuff going on in the background. That's a really good, interesting question. So what is the point of having a Go3 if your iPhone is going to do that as well, or can do it as well? And I imagine iOS 17 is going to come out with some tweaks on that when we come around to kind of like September time, when that's out. And that's going to be available, going back 5 years on whatever phone that you've got. I think if you've got anything older than newer than an iPhone X or an iPhone 8, then you're going to be sweet for iOS 17. It's a good question, and I think that's a really good idea for a video, Danny. I couldn't tell you right now. My hunch is that the direction focus, because it's there on your chest and it's using the algorithm to figure stuff out as to where you are, and the wind reduction algorithm as well, I think it might be a bit better. But I also find the wind reduction algorithm on the Go series of cameras, the Go3, I don't think it's better, but it's still not solved it properly. If it catches that mic straight on or goes right across that mic, the wind, you do get that kind of like howling effect, and it does kind of like clip at the high end. And they're trying really hard, I think, to fix that, but I think it's a design thing. And I'm not sure if your iPhone is positioned slightly differently, whether that might get a bit better. So there you go. And seeing the video samples, I hope that helps, Danny. Great idea, though. And seeing the video samples on YouTube, some are rather poor, muddy quality, and some are great in similar lighting conditions. Is that the fault of settings or YouTube compression? So when I did the videos, I tried to make sure that when I was doing comparisons, I was doing at the same time and as much the same lighting conditions as possible. 2.7K was straight out of camera. 1440p were processed on Desktop Studio in exactly the same way. So I tried to make all the conditions as similar as possible. So if there is a problem, it might be a YouTube compression problem. As soon as I kind of like rendered it here, it was all rendered on the same software. I tried to keep all the conditions as similar as possible. So yeah, I think I've tried to make that as comparable as possible, if that makes sense. Danny, also, how does the stabilization of standard video mode on Go3 compared to the iPhone? I love my Go3, but I find myself often still going to the iPhone for quick vlogging shots. Yeah, and the temptation is strong, isn't it? I think it kind of depends upon what iPhone you've got as well. The iPhone 14, has that kind of extra stabilization, particularly on the back cameras, I think, where it really has really very good stabilization now. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the iPhone 15 as well. What I do think about the 2.7K video on the Go3 is I was surprised how good that stabilization was. Once you're out of kind of no stabilization and into standard, I really like the way that it kind of tries to keep the stabilization focus on the person rather than on the background. Now that's what you get when you have the free frame video, where you have the horizon leveling. That focuses upon keeping the scenery level. On the 2.7K stabilization, the focus is upon keeping the person level. And I think it does a really, really good job of that. And I think that that's the big difference that I noticed between the two. If you're doing kind of like a more of a vlogging style kind of thing, you really want the focus on the person. And I think that's where the 2.7K mode may come into its own as a vlogging camera. I think the other thing to think about there is that you can just get that footage straight off. So yeah, it is an extra step in terms of trying to figure out what you're going to use your iPhone for, what you're going to use your camera for. For me, I have an iPhone 13 mini. That battery gets me through a day, but if I was picking it out and vlogging all the time with it, then I'd probably have to charge that up. I could probably use my iPhone, my Go3 as an alternative vlogging camera. I think there are particular situations where I would probably use it more than others, but it's very tempting just because I'm so used to how I use my iPhone for transitions and things like that. I It's a toss-up call. I probably would end up going to the iPhone a little bit more often unless I was being really intentional about using the Go3. What I would use the Go3 for as well, though, is like really setting up the framing with that screen. I think the selfie screen, I'm surprised how much I use it. I thought it was kind of like, would you really need a screen for the Go3? I'm surprised how useful it is. And that's been really interesting for me. Hope that helps. Thank you, Johal. That's nice. That's nice of you. It's really nice to be in a place where I'm making videos again. And this is the first live stream. I was like, should I do it or not? And I thought, it's a nice way to kind of like round off this kind of like real sprint that I've done with all these videos and just to connect with the community and see how it's going down. So yeah, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad that people are finding it useful. So, you retracted a message as well. I wonder what that was now. All right, any more questions? I'm here. Let me just talk to you a little bit about what I think Insta360 are up to recently, or have been up to right from the very start. I put out a video, I think it was in 2020 now, where I said the thing about Insta360 is that it's not a camera company. I think cameras are kind of core yet also incidental for Insta360. Insta360 is a software, AI, and design company. All the components for the Go's series of cameras, X3, they're kind of all out there. It's freely available. But what they do is that they put them together in a way with a software package that delivers really good quality experiences. Yes, they mess up every now and again. I put out a firmware upgrade, which just kind of like doesn't really work very well, and they have to kind of like iterate on that really quickly. I agree. They can be a little bit flaky around that. And also they can be a little bit flaky around the sort of extra features that they bring to a new camera, not necessarily bringing the community along with them. I saw this with the X2 when the 1X community were not happy about a lot of the features that came out on the X2, which they felt that they should be able to access as well. And that kind of happened in the end. They brought some of those features to the 1X after a little while, possibly a little bit of community pressure, possibly they were going to do that anyway. But you also have to remember that they're a company as well. They're trying to sell you cameras. They're trying to sell you the upgrade. These features are going to be available with the new version. You're not going to be able to do the old version. The old version is still good. Now, what I like about companies like Fuji cameras, I like Fuji cameras. They bring those upgrades to their old cameras, and they're kind of like never really dead. But it's kind of like the iPhone. They maybe have like a 5-year cycle where they're still bringing up those upgrades. The upgrade cycle for Insta360 is nowhere near as long. Like they won't be keeping those cameras alive and supported in terms of bringing new features for quite a long, as long as like Apple will. But their user base is also a lot smaller, and plus the level of iteration and innovation arguably is quicker as well in terms of design. You'll notice that smartphones haven't really changed in their design for quite a long time now. This is quite a big design pivot, I think, for Insta360. Some like it, some not so much. I still do really love the Insta360 GO2. I think it's fantastic. This all design. It's nice to stroke. It sits nicely. Yesterday, I found myself really missing this because I couldn't get the right angle for the GO3 for it to sit. I had to kind of like find something for it to sit on. Whereas if I had this, I can just change the angle really easily for a little vlog to camera. So that's something that I miss. But at the same time, this, although it feels nice, is really flimsy. I know people break this really easily. It's really hard to get a replacement if you can get one at all. And this hinge isn't great either. It tends to come a little bit loose. And if you break that, that's kind of like a vulnerability too. There's no perfect solution. So I think Insta360 is a company that focuses really very much on the software and the AI and making that their differentiating product. Having said that, I think Flashcut is getting a little bit tired. I think Flashcut and the stories needs a little bit of kind of work, I think, to bring a bit more. If you look at what people like TikTok are doing or Instagram are doing now with their templates, they're kind of like something else. Flashcut looked great 3 years ago for Insta360. It looks really old now, I think. I think that they really need to up their game on Flashcut and AI if this is meant to be a social media tool where people are going to be kind of like using the whole system in order to put out stuff on TikTok or Reels or wherever it is that you're aiming to put your output. Danny, speaking of your break from YouTube and subsequent return and rebrand, how did you emerge from the break and find renewed energy for video creation? Wow, man, that's a that's a great question. Hmm. I do feel like I've emerged with a lot more energy and a lot more passion. I'm not sure if it's coming across in my videos or even on this live stream. I'm actually loving doing this again. And I think that if you don't know me or what I've been doing over the last 3 years, I'm a clinical psychologist by training. Been working a lot in public mental health. I did a lot of work in the pandemic supporting the government's response for that thing, and that was really tiring. It was really productive, really tiring. But as I was trying to do both that and doing YouTube, I found that I just couldn't really focus on YouTube. I was focusing more on what YouTube wanted me to do. What were the analytics telling me that was working and not working? It became much more around serving the machine rather than serving me. And what I've noticed is that over the last like year or so, is that I've really needed a different kind of creative outlet. So I've also written 3 books during that time. And that's been great. I've been writing, I've really enjoyed that process, but there's something different around creating in this way. So going out, being in the world, trying out tech, trying to figure out what's going to be helpful for people. How can I help them to understand what's going on with this camera or with this thing, this bit of software or this problem that they're trying to solve? How can I make it light and easy for people so that they're having fun like me? That's what I want. I want to have fun when I'm using this stuff. I don't want to get bogged down in the details of how to get 100% out of this camera or this tech or this software. I want to get 80% out of it, enough such that it doesn't feel like a load, but I'm getting like a lot of the potential out of this device. I don't want to be spending that extra like stress trying to get that extra 20%. If I can do a little bit of that for you, that's great. But I'm probably not going to. I'm not going to be ever going to be like a super in-depth kind of like YouTuber who's going to be putting half-hour videos on how to use every little setting. I want to be able to kind of pick up this camera, use it for the best things, and teach you how to use it in cool ways to enjoy it in your life and use it in your life. And I think now that I've kind of stumbled upon that's my reason again, and also knowing that I'm going to be using these devices and traveling again, which is something I'm not being able to do. I've got a family with three kids, trying to carve out that time for me to do that and negotiating that with my family is, kind of a big deal. But I've got this trip coming up to Japan. And I'm super pumped. I'm super excited. One of the things I want to do is like do live streams with you guys when I'm out there. And so this is kind of like trying to test this out and get myself used to kind of like speaking to camera on live stream again. But I think in terms of me, advice on avoiding burnout, I would say use and look at the analytics, but don't let them drive you. And I think that that's where I got to last time. I was starting to get some success, and I was doing some courses, and they were telling me what to do in terms of like how to grow my channel. And growing my channel became an end in itself, rather than trying to figure out, hey, am I still having fun doing this, and what does fun mean for me? So your growth is good. course I want to grow, but fun is probably the priority right now. And so what you'll start to see from me is a few more little vlogs and shorts of fun and things like that, as well as all of the videos that I've been doing over the last sort of like 2 weeks or so. So yeah, I hope that that answers a little bit more of your question there, Danny. That hit, oh, feel that pull where YouTube bends your creative impulse to serve itself. Yeah, totally. That's totally it, right? It's like, hey, they're trying to kind of like get you into a space where what they want and what you want overlaps. But that's hard. And being a creator is a really lonely thing. I think that's the other thing I noticed. So I was doing a lot of this on my own. You know, New Zealand's a fairly small country. Wellington's even smaller. With all the things that have been going over the last 3 weeks, people weren't kind of like getting together as much. And so you can find yourself kind of like you and the algorithm. And that becomes like your kind of like coach. And it's a harsh coach, right? It's like, um, so finding another way, I think, of getting kind of like a steerage. And so watching other people's videos, connecting with other people. And that's partly why I kind of like wanted to do this live stream as well. Because like Danny, you've been with me for like such a long time on this journey. I've seen your stuff as well, and how you've been trying to grow through you and keeping your passion alive with your art too. And so, you know, really connecting with you guys, my audience, but also connecting with other YouTubers is something that I intentionally want to try and do over the next wee while, just to try and keep my creative juices flowing and keep that fun going as well, rather than the harsh coach of the YouTube algorithm, which is, you know, it's there for a reason, and it's good to have it there in the background, but it shouldn't be the primary voice in your head, which it started because professional, personal, and YouTube. Ah, yeah. I have to put out one video a week for drawing competition I'm in, and between work and family, find that difficult. So yeah, here's the thing. So my me and my wife are kind of like trying to figure out this balance ourselves, um, and we have kind of like a strategy as to how this is going to happen. But tactically, you know, it can go offline sometimes. So she had to go to Europe for work. I had a plan as to what I was going to do, but one of the kids got really sick for most of that time, so I did nothing in that time, up until, like, I literally had about maybe 3 days before the Go3 video was due on launch date to get that video together. And I had 6 hours just before the deadline, which was like 1 a.m. here in New Zealand, where the video would not render and I could not figure out what was wrong. And so I had to go through. It ended up being a software problem because like LumaFusion put out an update like 3 days afterwards saying, yeah, this might have been a problem and this is why videos weren't rendering. But it took me 6 hours to find the 1 second clip that wasn't going to work. And that was destroying. It was not going well for me that night. And so it's really nice that, you know, since then everything's gone in my direction. But my point is that I was trying to reclaim some of that time back. My cadence is going to change. After the next week or so, I'm back to sort of like 2, 3 videos a week, possibly 2, and then some shorts and maybe a live stream or something different. But I'm still trying to find my cadence where I'm trying to balance that family responsibility for me now, because you know I'm kind of like doing the kids drop offs and all that sort of like stuff as well. So it's tricky, it's ongoing. I'm still yet to find my cadence on that yet, Mike. I hear you, and I don't want to kind of overstep and be too much into YouTube and neglect other things. So it's a constant dance, but I'm trying to find a rhythm. That rhythm's not going to come for a while yet. I've got Japan in August, and then I've got London in September, October. And then we come back here and we're in the run up to Christmas. And that's kind of like, you know, YouTube crazy season where everybody's kind of like trying to put out review videos because it's sales season and all the rest of it. So I've got all of that to deal with. Yeah. So yeah, constant pressure, constant dance, Mike. Sorry, no easy answers there. Hey, hope that helps, Mike. 441, number 441. Hi. Can you use the pivot stand quick release plate with the Go3 attached underwater? And how far can you move it away from the action pod before connection issues arise? Okay, the second point is really interesting. First point I've got here, haven't tried it underwater. What it does say on some of the gump, I haven't got it here. It does say that you have to give it a little bit of time for this adhesive. I haven't tried it yet. You have to give it a little bit of time for the adhesive to work, to bond, for it to form a good bond. And I think, can't remember, don't hold me to this. I think it says kind of like don't use it for more than about 30 minutes at a time. So you have to get a little bit of time for that bond to form, a few seconds, I guess, rather than just kind of like bonk and go. Just hold it in there for a little bit. But there's also kind of like a max period, which they recommend too. I'm not sure whether it's just to cover themselves or what. I don't know if it's designed for underwater use. I would be surprised if this is designed for underwater use. So I would take that up with Insta360. I couldn't give you a definitive answer on that. In terms of the action pod and before connection issues arise, depends upon what's in the way. I've had this on my chest and I've held the action pod on the other side of my body and it loses connection. Okay, so I kind of like have to kind of keep a clean line of sight between the action pod and the camera. So if I was more than what I've tried is like if I'm more than about 3 or 4 meters away, it loses connection. So theoretically, it should work probably a bit further than that. In practice, in real life, it's not as good as it says on the tin. That's been my experience. That might have been a firmware problem or what, but yeah, the Bluetooth works, but you really need to be careful kind of what else is in the way. So yeah, I hope that helps. Kurto Photo, hi. Does the Go3 and Go2 use the same lens covers? Yes, they do. So the lens cover here on the Go3, the Go2 ones fit those as well. And so that also means the ND filters. If you've got those for the Go2, they'll fit the Go3 as well. No problem. For the and I'm talking again. My God, you've got so many questions. It's all cool. It's all cool. For the Go3 as a family vacation camera where you can offload short clips daily or every second day, would you suggest 64 gigabytes or being patient and ordering the 128 gigabyte? Good question. If you can afford it and you can wait, I'd go for the 128 gigabytes. I'd always get the largest one that you can afford to get. Or you can be patient enough to wait for. Otherwise, you're always going to have that nagging in the back of your mind. Should have got the 64 gig. But if you've got a trip coming up and you really, really want it with you, get the 64 gig because I think that will, in the way your usage kind of like pattern means that it will probably be fine for you. If you want to future-proof yourself a little bit, I get the 128 gig if you can afford it and you can wait. That's just my personal hunch. 441. I meant like to use a stand to swim with it in your hand instead of just holding the little Go by itself as you want. That will be fine. You can just take this thing off, right? It comes off, and you can just have that like that in your hand. Even better, right? I'm probably going to make a video about this, but so Insta360 sent me one of these. This is a quick release mount that has the GoPro kind of like attachment here. And then, do you remember the kind of like the hand mount that you could get for the Go2? I would get one of these and have that hand mount and then use that to swim underwater with. Then you're super secure. You're not going to drop it. It's not going to fall off. You're not going to be kind of like carrying this around, even if you've got that on there as kind of like, you know, secure, a little bit more secure between your fingers like that. You know, I don't know. I know that when I go snorkeling, if something comes at me and it's a little bit of a surprise, I go, and then I could end up dropping this. Or so you need some kind of secure around your wrist, this tying it onto your wrist, or get that hand glove mount with this attached to it. The good news is that these claw clamp and the magnet system is a lot more secure than the Go2. This is probably one of the most underrated developments, I think, of the Go3 so far, is that the security of the mounting system is a lot better than it was for the Go2. The Go2 was good, but you kind of always worried about it. The Go was kind of terrible, really. I had it on the magnet mount once, I think, on a zip line, and it came off. Fortunately, it was right by the end sort of station, but yeah, I nearly lost the Go because of that. So yeah, yes, I think it'll be fine underwater like that. Will you lose your footage if the Bluetooth disconnects between the pod and the Go3? No, you don't. It carries on recording in whatever mode that you already had it going in. So the Go3 just kind of like carries on as it was, and then when it gets the connection back again, your preview screen repopulates whatever it was that you were doing, comes back onto the screen. So that's not a problem. If you lose the connection, it doesn't mean it stops doing what it was doing, just carries on. And then you can just recontrol it, or you can stop it manually using the button on the camera unit itself. Oh, so the quick release mount and the pivot stands magnetic claw clamp mounts are two different things. Ah, good. Okay, good. Cool. Glad you saw that. Yes, it is. Everything, Kurt, photo. Yes, you're right. Everything is saved in the camera, not the pod. That's right. It doesn't offload onto the pod. Although, that's a good question. That's a good point, actually. This is mysterious to me. No, that's not mysterious. This is mysterious. This USB-C thing here, right? I think this is interesting. I think this could mean that other things are coming. I don't know if it's going to mean that like an external mic thing is coming. I don't know if that's going to happen. That would be cool, but I don't think it's going to happen. I wonder if there's a possibility that you might kind of get some kind of quick reader function on here. I wonder if there's going to be a possibility of offloading your footage onto some kind of little SD card clip and then bringing that into your phone, just like the X3 and the One RS system has a quick reader. I wonder if there's going to be a GO3 quick reader as well. I don't know. I just sit here wondering about that and looking at it going, that would be cool, because I think one of the things that I don't like about the Go system cameras or any of the Insta360 cameras is I think that the wireless connection to the app is flaky. I don't like it much. I don't understand why it's using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. I think it's slow. I think it drains your battery, and I don't like how it makes my phone use mobile data when I'm kind of like trying to look at stories and populate that template. It's drawing it all from the mobile data unit, which is costing me. I much prefer using the quick reader with my X3, say for example. So if there was a quick reader for this, I think that would be killer. I think that would be great. Yes, it's additional cost, but I do think it would be that would be amazing for my workflow. If I could just offload it onto an SD card, have it onto my or built-in memory, whatever it is, how they structure it. SD card would be fantastic, and then have that uploaded onto there, and then I can use that to edit on my cell phone or iPad or whatever it is that I was doing. That would be great. Would love that. Would love that. 441, no problem at all. Kurt iPhoto, if you edit in the app versus desktop editor, do you get different quality output? Yes, you do. You absolutely do. But kind of depends upon what you're designing your output for. If you're designing your output to be kind of like consumed on social media, Instagram stories, TikToks, Facebook Reels, whatever it is, mobile's going to be fine. Like, you're probably not going to see that much of a difference unless you're looking really carefully between what you put out on Desktop Studio and what you do in the mobile app. Also, on the mobile app, there are things you can do that you can't do on Desktop Studio. Desktop Studio is fine for kind of like rendering out straight video, and a little bit of kind of like the time shift hyperlapse, kind of moving hyperlapse and time lapses as well. That's all fine. You can do that in Desktop Studio and have really good resolution. If you want to do anything more that the mobile app can offer you, like some of the more flashy kind of like transitions and stories and things like that, all of that is only mobile app. But if you're going to render for like big screens, like 4K videos and things like that, it's going to look different to the rest of your footage, and you may be okay with that. I spent years doing that. I will probably carry on doing that. But what I do appreciate for the GO3 is being able to get that 2.7K straight footage without processing straight into my iPad Pro. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, there is a difference. Sometimes you'll notice it if you're using it for big screen kind of like output. If you're using it for small screen output, there are more advantages, I think, through using the mobile app than losses through using Desktop Studio. You gain image quality, but you lose some of that kind of like great stuff that Insta360 do. Aaron Jot. Oh, so you can only offload videos onto your phone, tablet via Wi-Fi, or is it possible to connect USB-C, say an Android phone, and transfer content via cable? You can for the 2.7K video. Everything else is in a proprietary format, which needs to be processed through an Insta360 app, either desktop studio or the mobile app. So that's how it works. Photos are different. Photos will just come out if you, actually no, it's an INSP file, INSP, or you can capture an INSP plus RAW. So you can get the raw files out, bring them out. So let's say, for example, you were doing like a time lapse, a night lapse, star lapse. You can choose to output that in either INSP files or INSP plus RAW. You can get the raw files out, and there are ways of kind of like making super high resolution time lapses using things like Lightroom and Adobe Premiere Pro, if that's what you wanted to do. So yes, you can get more generic files. Most of them are proprietary files that you need to process through Insta360 software. That's how it works. I gotta wonder, Joe at Tech. Hi. I wonder if Insta 1R USB-C mic dongle gonna work with Go3. Tried it. Nope, didn't work. Good question though. I tried it, didn't work for me because I was curious about that too. I was like, oh, external mic could be really good. Nah. Oh, so I do have. Wait a sec. I have this. So I bought this. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I've been so busy with Insta360 mics, but this is going to be my thing when I go to Japan. So this is going to be attached to my Insta360 Flow plus my iPhone, and this is going to be my remote mic, external mic. But if you notice, right, this is like a DJI mic in that it has a camera connector, it has a lightning connector, and it has a USB-C connector. Now, one of the things that it does do as well is that it's got gain control. Now, I tried a Ulanzi mic and it didn't have gain control, and that was a problem in the end. This has gain control in it. Now, I'm wondering whether this is going to work with the Go3. Haven't even unboxed it yet. Probably get around to it in the next week or two. I'll let you know whether it works with the Go3 or not. How's that? All right. Mic. Hopefully Go4 has the case as a wireless mic. One can wish. Do you know what I wish? Like, you know, the DJI Action 2, in I think in one of the modules that attaches to the main camera module, there's built-in extra mics. I wish the Action Pod had an extra mic somewhere in here. I think it would have been difficult for them to figure out how to do that, and space on the Action Pod as well. But that would have been amazing if it would have had a mic in there as well. That would have been fantastic. Hey, Drone 360 World, nice to see you here. Oh, we've got 14 people in here now. This is great. I'm probably going to go for about an hour, just to let you know. We're at 43 minutes. This time has flown. I'm telling you, that's a real surprise. It's 43 minutes in. Have you had any issue using a different cable to the one supplied by Insta360 to connect Go3 to iMac? Mine only works with the white cable and no other cable. I haven't even broken that white cable out. I used an old Insta360 cable that I had lying around, probably from the X2 or X3. No problem with it. So yeah, no, I haven't used the white cable that came with it. I used an older Insta360. It's definitely an Insta360 label on the USB-A connector. It's got Insta360 written on it. So yeah, works with that. I don't know about other cables. I suspect that is a data charging cable. I don't know. You probably know what you're doing here, but just double check that that's also a data cable, not just a charging cable. I know that connecting my USB, my iPad Pro to the USB-C out on the Go3 only works with my Samsung SSD cable. I've tried a couple of other USB-C to USB-C cables that I've got lying around, even ones that I thought and I think are data capable, but they don't work. It's only that one cable, which I'm going to be now guarding with my life in order to make sure that I can offload my footage. Oh, my coffee's getting a little bit cold. Okay, Aaron John again, nice. This is good. Some on YouTube have reported issues with audio lag in the videos after transferring multiple videos off the camera. Have you experienced this issue? No. I haven't, and I've been looking out for it. I have had that kind of audio lag thing going on before, and I wasn't sure whether it was a LumaFusion thing or an Insta360 thing. But either way, I've been looking out for it, and I'm not seeing that audio lag issue. So it may be, maybe that it's there. I personally haven't experienced it yet. I'll be using it a lot more in the next week or so. So if I do, I'll be sure to either create a short about it or post on my community post about it. Or if it's a really big issue, I'll make a proper video about it. So you keep an eye out on my channel. I'll let you know if there is an issue, but I haven't experienced it so far. Drones 360 well, same iPad Pro, only with white. Oh, okay, interesting. No, yeah, it's they're very specific, aren't they? They can be very picky about which cable is going to work and which cable isn't. And sometimes it's just kind of like a bingo. You're just like, oh, I'll try this one. I'll try this one next. The whole cable thing is a real mess. I think Apple should start making cables, like generic cables for everything, for it to connect all their devices and charge like $50 for it. They'll make a killing, but at least you'll have some reliability about that. Right. Where are people at, actually? Jot, where are you? 441, where are you? Everybody, tell me where you're from. Where are you? I'm like originally from London. My parents moved there from Punjab in India in the 1960s, and I moved here to New Zealand in 2005 after visiting here in 2000. And I thought, hey, I really like it over there. If I'm going to go and live overseas for a bit, then I will probably choose there. And I've been here. I was back in the UK for a little while, a couple of years, and then I've been back here all that time. So where are you from? Where are you? Inside the pod, on the left side, there's a little silver metal circle that you can push in. Oh, let's have a look. This is not going to take me to another dimension, is it? Oh, there. Okay. This thing here. That one there. Yeah, you can push that in. I suspect that might be to do with the claw. You see these claws here? There and there? I think that might be something to do with it can sense whether there's a camera in there or not. That might be the kind of like the mechanical kind of like, okay, there's a camera in here now. It might not be anything to do with the claws, but it might be just letting the action pod that there is a camera in here, physically in here now. Yeah, so I don't think it's a connector for the camera. I think it literally is hey, there's a camera in here now, and it's snug, so do the thing that you can do when there's a camera in here. Don't know. Interesting though. Adrian, hi. I think I've seen you comment on some of my videos as well. Hi. Oh no, you congratulated me for getting to 7,000 subscribers. Hooray! That was a long journey getting from 6,000 to 7,000. I tell you, I'm so glad that I'm here. I mean, it's just a number, but it's a nice number. I'd like to get to 10 as soon as I can, but there you go. Thank you. Anyway, so I read somewhere that only USB-C to USB-A cables work for the GO2. Is it the same for the GO3? No. So like I said, I can use a USB-C to USB-C to connect the GO3 to my iPad Pro, which has got a USB-C port, not a Lightning port on it. So no, that's not true. But as I was saying before earlier in the live streams, that you have to have a particular one. So it's only the one that works with my Samsung T7 SSD. I have other USB-C to USB-C cables that will not work with it. So I think it's a data cable. It's a particular kind of data cable, maybe with enough bandwidth, and that works. So yeah, it's not true. It's just A to C ones that work. Excuse me. Hi, Philippe. Nice to see you from Portugal, and thank you. Drone 360 web, Port Talbot. Oh, lovely. I spent 5 years in Cardiff, and I had mates from Port Talbot. So yeah, nice. And I think I knew that Drone 360 World. You just reminded me. Lovely to see you back here again. Poland, but moved from the US and Canada. Hi. And what's the weather like in Poland today? It's like I said, it's kind of grey. and it's going to be drizzly here today, but we have had a fantastic week up until this point. You'll have seen from my videos, it's actually been quite sunny and nice. Cold though. Mike, West Virginia, USA. Hi, Mike. Nice part of the world. I hope you're keeping safe and it's not too hot over there right now. Mark Assman. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mark. From your say, sorry if I missed it, but is there any way to attach an external microphone a la Rode DJI, etc. to the dock? No, not that I've found so far. I've tried a few different kind of like USB-C kind of like mic adapters, but as I was saying just before, I've got this Boya Link wireless mic to test, and I'll get around to doing that in the next week, possibly 2 weeks, because I'm preparing for my Japan trip. I'm trying to figure out what's going to be in my camera bag, and I'll probably have a live stream about that soon. And yeah, I'll test this out to see if it works with this. I'm not sure if there is going to be a mic adapter for this. I think going 2 mics on this is probably their solution, Insta360 solution for this. So we may or may not see a quick reader. I'm not sure if we'll see a USB-C mic port adapter for this, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I mean, would you pay for it if it was something extra? Is that something you'd be interested in doing? Even though this is kind of like supposed to be like a very small kind of like portable, self-contained vlogging device, would you want to hang things off the side of it? Is that something that you'd want? I'm interested. Is that something that people want to see? How long can you record in 2.7K mode, and how long in free frame 1440p? I mean, what is the limitation of the storage? I guess you got the 64 gig version. Yes, I did. I wonder how often you have to offload the files. So Joe at Tech, I was saying earlier on, is that I've been using this kind of on and off now for this since 3 days before launch, and I'm probably about halfway through my storage. I've not been using it super intensively. I've only been using it for test footage. I can't tell you exactly how long you can record in 2.7K mode and how long in free frame. I haven't done that. I think it's going to be a battery exhaustion thing before you get to a footage thing. But I don't know. I think it's plenty. I mean, I think one of the things you have to bear in mind is that I don't think this is a device that's kind of like designed by Insta360 for really long footage records, for many different reasons. I think this is kind of like a short burst kind of like recording of like people's lives, but you can, and I put a video out day before yesterday on who do I think this is for. I think I can use this quite easily mounted, and just to kind of like get some locked off shots, bit kind of like Casey Neistat does, you know, like how he does like really like super square shots the whole time. He doesn't do moving cameras. I think this is a really interesting device to do kind of like Casey Neistat type kind of vlogs. I think this is, if you just use it exclusively for that, which is what I'm thinking about doing when I go to Japan. This is just going to become a vlogging machine, and I will just do kind of like 2-3 minute videos, just vlogs, just using this. Is that something that you'd be interested to see? If you look at my 30,000 days video on my channel, I did that after doing kind of like an online course with Casey, and it's kind of like a different style I was trying to kind of like put out. YouTube didn't give it out to many people because it was a little bit different from the other stuff on my channel. But have a look at that. If that's the sort of thing that you'd be interested in seeing from me in Japan, that's what I think this is made for. I don't think it's made for kind of like long content recording. Having said that, don't have an answer to your question. Sorry. Kurt O'Photo, that makes sense and more or less what I was thinking, but thought maybe Insta360 gave me some inside information. Thanks for answering our questions. No, sorry, I'm not on that kind of like A-list, kind of like Insta360 kind of like influencer, whatever. Having said that, Insta360 have been great with me over the last couple of years. They've been sending me out devices. I don't get any sponsored videos, but I do appreciate them sending me out sometimes pre-production units. I don't think this is any different what they sent me to the things that people are buying, actually, because I asked them, I said, is it any different? And they said, actually, I don't think it is. So yeah, they've been great. And they also take, I think, criticism on board. And I think, you know, and I tell them, it's like, hey, look, I'm going to do honest opinions here. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to change that. And they're okay with it, I think. I don't know. Joe at Tech, Poland. Hi. And Kurt, I photo after moving around most of my life in Pittsburgh, PA now. Hi. Pittsburgh gets cold there. That's what I know Pittsburgh for. But also kind of like super cool now, I think, after the kind of like deindustrialization. That's what I'm hearing from friends. Mike, completely unrelated to current chat, but as a person with high anxiety, your book Finding Calm was awesome. Ah, is there any place I could buy a signed copy? Oh, mate, I don't have any copies left. I didn't have that many. But thank you so much. That's really nice to hear. I'm glad that that was useful. No, I'd be interested to know where you got it from and how you got it in the States, because as far as I know, it was only sold on ebook in the States. You can buy it mail order from Australia or New Zealand, I'm sure. I think it was also like published in Brazil in hard copy, but that would be a Portuguese version, and also Portugal as well, and also Estonia. Estonia, incredible. So yeah, but thank you, Mike. That's really kind of you. Kurt, I photo for what it's worth. I have the 128 gig version. How'd you get hold of that? I thought they weren't out yet. Insta360, no, actually, I think that they were selling them out. And with it in regular video, 27.K30, it says 5 hours 49 in the corner. So battery will be dead long before the memory is full. Yeah, I think so. Now, I can't really speak to the overheating problem. I never really had an overheating problem with the Go2. I know lots of people did. Doesn't really get that hot in Wellington. So ambient temperature is never really that hot. So I think it manages to lose heat. It managed to lose heat before it ever got that hot. But I think that I don't think overheating should be a problem, but you never know with like really long video footage capture. If it's in the heat pod and it's stationary in a really hot environment, I don't know. I'm not hearing any problems with it so far though. Market maker buy sell models. Hi, I've seen you on my comments. Welcome. What happens when you open Insta360 app for Go3? Do you see live stream option? No, you don't. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? If you could live stream from this device, but no, I had a look and there is no live stream option there, I'm afraid. I think that would be awesome. I'm not sure if they're going to bring it to here, but you know, never say never. Who knows what's going to happen? But not there right now. Kurt, I've only just 40 minutes and oh, okay, there's another conversation going on there. That's fine. Okay, yeah, you're having a chat to each other. Lovely. 40 minutes on 2.7K, no stabilization, 64 gigs until battery die, until not done free frame. Okay, 40 minutes on 2.7K, Go3 only. That's pretty good. I think that's all right. No stabilization though. Be interesting to see how that is shortened by adding stabilization on there as well. I mean, I guess it was just kind of locked off and mounted. Hey, you weren't moving around then. Glad I found your Adrian. Thank you. Glad I found your channel. Genuine reviews and great guides, and you're the reason why I got the Go2. Lovely, wonderful. Thank you. By using my affiliate link. Thanks so much, though. Gareth Roberts. I've just got a Go3. Do you have problems with the camera and base losing connection on the selfie stick? It keeps disconnecting. So we talked a little bit about that, Gareth. I have not had a problem with that, but I have had a problem a little bit when I've had the Go3 on the chest mount and I've held the action pod down to the side of my body. If the signal is having to travel through my body, it kind of like goes in and out in terms of the actual connection. But what we discussed is that the Go3 just carries on doing what it was doing. And then when the connection is reestablished, you can see what's on the previous screen again and control comes back to you, or you could just stop it using the Go3 button as well. On the selfie stick, it keeps disconnected. You know, one of the things I need to try, because I'm going to be doing a 5 best accessories thing, and I'll give you a sneak preview. One of them I think is going to be, I'm going to test, is going to be the 3-meter extended selfie stick pole. I'm wondering how it's going to perform 3 meters away from me up in the air with me having the action pod here. I will report back to you one way or another as to how that's going to work. And so yeah, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's the problem that I'm having in terms of Bluetooth connection. Mike, you're very kind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And this has been such a fun live stream. We're still going now. And the audience is still coming in, so I'm going to carry on going for a few more minutes because this is like fantastic. But yeah, Really appreciate that $10 super chat there, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you. Market maker, I've ordered a 128 gig model, but they say 20 days wait time to ship. Any idea why? No idea why. I'm sorry. Is that from Insta360 you ordered it or from Amazon? Because I think Amazon are getting it from mid-July. So, I mean, it's a possibility there. You might want to cancel that order and Amazon's, but I mean, like mid-July, when's mid-July, right? I mean, that could be like 12 days away. Who knows? And then you've got shipping time there as well. So, yeah, no, sorry, don't have any inside information there. Just production capacity, I guess, or shipping. Shipping, could possibly shipping. I'm asking about storage capacity because sometimes I do not have a possibility to offload the footage, but can charge it. Yeah, that's a thing, right? It's like when you are away from home or whatever it is, however it is that you normally manage your footage, it can be an issue. So 64 gig, I would say, and we were talking about it at the beginning of the live stream, so it'd be fine for a long weekend, possibly a week, if you were being careful with the footage that you're capturing and maybe reviewing it at the end of the day and deleting stuff you don't need. Like sometimes, you press the button and it captures like 20 minutes of footage that you weren't planning. That's one of the things that's not great about this design. When you've got this design, you don't get accidental presses on here, so you end up capturing the inside of your pocket or the inside of your bag. With this can start triggering, and if you've got this, the quick capture particularly, because it powers from when the system is off, and so you end up with capturing footage that is like the inside of your bag for like 40 minutes, and then your batteries run out as well. So that's a bit of a problem with this design having this exposed. So yeah, I would review your footage if you were doing that, going away for a weekend, just making sure that you've not captured a whole load of footage that you don't need, taking up space on your device. I would always say get the 128 gig if you can afford to do it, just to future proof yourself a little bit. But 64 gig is probably going to be adequate, and if that's what your budget fits as well. Um, Gareth, yes, I was thinking that. Was there maybe my hands were covering the base too much? Yeah. So yeah, the way you're holding it, I think makes a difference. And that's only going to be solved with a bit of experimentation. Another little tip for you, I don't know if you've watched my mic video, but it's a two mic system, right? So one mic is here on the front and the other is right here on the side. Just there, there's the mic hole and the action pod. Now, if you're holding it like this to do a selfie video, you're blocking one of the mics. So you have to be kind of like really careful and mindful about how you're holding it in order to make sure you're keeping the mics clear, because you can really notice it on one of my videos. One of the mics gets blocked and you can still hear me, but the sound quality changes. So yeah, that's a little bit of a thing you have to watch out for. Not a great design. Perhaps not so much of an issue if you're left-handed, but if you're right-handed, that kind of like your heel of your hand could cover that mic quite easily. So just something to watch out for. With Go to, okay, yeah. How useful is AI editing for general purpose everyday holiday trip? I hate editing and frankly don't have time as well. Any tips? I think it's great, but it's kind of a little bit dated now. I think it's great for family trips. You're just going to be using them for yourself. It's really cool. Personally, I prefer using the stories editor on the app where you can just do kind of like a little bit of light editing. I have a video on my channel. Take a look at it where I kind of tested the AI on the Go2 versus me going in and doing a little bit of light editing myself and whether I can make it any better. Have a look at that video and that might give you the answer to your question, because I think the same principles apply. I don't really see like any kind of like great changes in Flash Cut and the AI system for the Go3 that I've noticed. So have a look at that video for the Go2 and I think it's applicable and that might help you out. Does it overheat? Plant pot killer. Hi and welcome. I have had no problems with it overheating so far. Haven't used it a ton. It's been, you have to remember also it's winter here in New Zealand. It's been cool and crisp, the weather that I've been testing it in. But I'm not seeing anybody else on YouTube saying that they're having overheating issues with the Go3. So that's a little bit of reassurance that you need. That's what I can offer you. Uh, okay, yeah, that's right. Kurdo photo. I know you're talking with Joe at Tech, but yeah, that's the it's telling you what memory is available, not the battery that's available. Yes, 45 minutes of battery at 170 minutes in the pod, and that is, I think, recording at 1080p. So anything more than that is going to kind of like eat into your battery. I have all the conditions, and I put them out in my initial video around the conditions of those test conditions that Insta360 came out with those figures. Um, you get kind of okay video doing that. If you have anything more than that, it's going to eat into your battery time. Um, Seems they mostly produce 64 gig versions because these are the instant dispatch. Yeah, I guess they kind of had to make a production call, and they figured most people the sweet spot's going to be 64 gig, but also kind of like people are a little bit budget conscious these days as well too. Can the Action Pod charge with a power bank while Go3 is docked inside and recording? Yes, it can. Market maker buy sell models by Makuchaku. That's a long name. Yes, it can, because I did this, exactly this, doing the star lapse. So if you look at my star lapse video, I set that up with a 10,000 milliamp hour battery externally connected by USB-C. The battery was drained by the morning, but it was still shooting away, and that was like for 16 hours I had that going. And so, yeah, that was fine. Worked just fine. That was for star lapse. So you might run into kind of like problems if you're doing video. I think you're going to run out of space before that, but for the star lapse, it worked just fine. Quick reader. Yes, quick reader. Make it current quick reader. Yes, we want a quick reader. Yes, I think that's true. Quick tip for everyone. Insta360 had many accessories out of stock. We found them on Amazon at the same price. Nice tip. Thank you very much for that. Accidental pressing is more reason why I should bring back the time recording length. Silly to dump it. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. It just seemed, I don't know if they just have a completely different team working on it and there was no continuity with the Go2 team or what. It just seemed like, why would you get rid of 15-second and 30-second clip length when it's been continuously there for the Go and the Go2? It's not like it's causing a problem. For me, that's like a basic function of the Go camera. I don't understand why that's not there. Very strange. I've accidentally hit the side buttons when gripping it firmly to get the camera out or flipping up the screen. Screen is very stiff and the cam magnet is very strong. I agree with you. It is quite stiff actually. And I think that's probably there for it's probably there for a reason. It might get looser over time, but certainly it is. You have to kind of like prise it out to get it out. And whilst you're doing it, you're kind of gripping hold of here. And so yeah, these side buttons are easy to press. So yeah, that's a trigger thing that you need to kind of like watch out for as well. Market maker buy sell models by Makuchaku. I'm going to say the whole name every time. Is it good to buy extended 1-year warranty as it only covers product defects but not accidental damage after 1 year? Okay, I don't know what's going to suit you. I'll put it this way. I buy Apple Care for all my Apple products because I don't really want the hassle of just trying to kind of return it or figure out how home insurance is going to pay for it and then having to pay like more next year or an excess on it. Maybe stupid of me, but I like the peace of mind of knowing that even if I drop this thing, that I'm going to be able to get a new one fairly quickly. If that's important to you, I would say get the extra warranty. For peace of mind, that's what I liked to do. May help you too with that decision. Possibly not so much with this, but you know, it's still this screen. I worry about this screen. It's like it's super exposed. Not like it's necessarily going to crack or anything, but I don't know. I haven't seen anybody smash theirs yet, but I'm sure it's only going to be a matter of time, and we'll hear some stories about how this has got broken and how it got broken. Does Insta360 app uploads all videos into phone memory for editing? It'll be very sad as I always need to maintain 128 gig free storage in my phone to edit a full vacation's worth of photos. Yeah, man. Like this iPhone 13 mini, 128 gigs is all it is. I manage all of my stuff by having external kind of like iCloud stuff. But in answer to your question, you can download it onto your phone if you want to, or you can edit it using the wireless connection on your camera. The problem is that it eats battery on both of your devices a bit. Whilst you're connected wirelessly through Wi-Fi to your camera, you're going to be using mobile data, so that's kind of could cost you, because it takes a fair amount of data depending upon what your data plan is and where you live in the world. And I actually find it flaky. I actually don't find it a particularly reliable connection, which is another reason why I think a quick reader would be a really good solution for. It hits this. It hits the solution in terms of being able to kind of like dump and offload your memory and clear your memory on your camera, but also really improving the reliability of the connection and making it really easy to take advantage of Flashcut and the AI. As is, I don't really use Flashcut AI because I just don't really like connecting with it in that way. I tend to offload my footage, process it, and get it off the device as far as possible, and then do everything else afterwards. That's just me. Extra warranty won't cover accidental damage, correct? It only cover defects. It depends. I think you can get ones like, I think if you, I don't know, I'm not sure about the details for Insta360 warranties and Amazon warranties. I think that one or the other might cover accidental damage as well. So yeah, just have a look at the small print before you buy it, and to see whether it does. Interesting, because the law in the EU requires 2-year warranty. The Go3 is more expensive here, and they just add the cost of the 1-year package into the price of the European models. Yeah, that's possible. They kind of like insure themselves for doing that. I know here in New Zealand, customer protection laws are quite strong as well. In terms of manufacturing defect, you're looking more like 2 years than 1. So yeah, I think it depends upon where you are in the world, and the possible sale price might reflect that too. Would you recommend to put it in a pants pocket, or is it too bulky? Hi, Motormite by Carl G. Welcome. I have made videos about this. There's a couple of videos where I've shown how this bit here can snag depending upon how tight your pants are. My pants are not particularly tight, but it still snags on the kind of like the opening of the pocket when I try and put it in. So yeah, it's not a great design compared to the kind of like nice slippery AirPodsy kind of like feel, and it's really smooth. There's no protruding things on the Go2. So yeah, and then this quick capture button can get depressed as well, and then you end up getting lots of nice footage of the inside of your pocket, which is not going to be particularly viewable by many people in your life. It might be a couple of people who want to watch it, but possibly not. So yeah, bit of a problem. So yeah, you have to take a little bit. It's pocketable, absolutely not as pocketable as that. And then I also showed how, you know, the pocketability of having the little thingy with the sticky mount, and also your hat clip, all of that fits in your pocket nice and neatly with the Go2. Bit less so. That's got a nice little claw hook, and this, even if you fold it over like that, and this as well, not only is it a bit bulky, but I don't want this scratching on that in my pocket as well. So you kind of have to manage it a little bit differently to take the whole package out with you in one pocket. It's a bit less easy to do that, and you have to take a little bit more care. I got the screen protector, and so satisfying to get a clean install with that. No dust specks under it. I know, that's so satisfying when you can manage it, eh? It's just one of those kind of simple pleasures of modern life. But I can't even notice it, so I would say it's a worthwhile accessory. That's really interesting to know. Don't feel any lag, or is it kind of, what's the surface feel like? Is it matte? Is it gloss? What are the edges of it? Can you talk a little bit more about that? How does a 2.7K look when you upscale for 4K? Take a look at my videos. That's exactly what I've done on my videos. The 2.7K out of the camera, straight onto my iPad Pro, rendered out in 4K. Watch it in 4K on YouTube. I think it looks all right. I think it looks fine. I think it looks perfectly good. I think it looks noticeably different from 1080p. And I think it's fine for watching on big screens. Do you edit most of your videos on Flashcut? No, I don't. Do you use any other desktop software? No, I don't use desktop software, Adrian. I use LumaFusion, which is a iPad app. iPhones as well, you can use it, and you can use it on the new Macs as well using the M chips, using keyboard shortcuts. because it's mainly touchscreen, but you can use it, use keyboard shortcuts and use a mouse with that as well. I know people do that. It's not the ideal optimized condition for it. It is designed for touch. So yeah, that's what I tend to use. Or sometimes I will use something like TikTok or CapCut, and I'll drop the bits of footage into that, and I'll see what the template does as well. So that's another interesting way that you can just kind of offload your footage and then use third-party software to create the videos that you want for social. So that's an interesting way of using it too. Can it be used as a webcam? Don't think it can. I'm pretty sure it can't. I haven't seen any kind of capability of that advertised. Haven't tried it. Yeah, so no, that's all I can say. The G Boy, hello, and thank you for coming. This audience is growing, man. Oh, is this what normally happens with live streams? This is the longest live stream I've ever done. We're now 1 hour, 15 minutes in. I'm quite happy to stick around a bit longer. I don't have anything else to do. The kids might get a little bit grumpy and want me out there soon, but 24 people. This is great. Thank you for coming. By the way, Sarb, have you done a low light comparison of Go2 and Go3? No, I haven't yet. And you know, I probably won't do a really good one until I go to Japan. And that's one of the first things I'm going to do when I go to Tokyo. And I don't know if I'm going to have time to edit and publish it when I'm there, but I'm going to do lots of low light footage, nighttime shots with my iPhone and the Go3, and you can have a little bit of a comparison there. Probably not a lot of use for here, but there's not a lot of. I live out in the suburbs by the coast. You'll see from some of my videos. Wellington is a small capital city that I don't go into that often. There's not a lot of neon or nightlife there that I kind of like. I'm going to be taking photos of. I have small kids as well. I go to bed at 10 p.m. That's my life. So anyway, when I do get a chance to get something interesting in low light, be sure I'm going to make it. Probably won't be for a few weeks yet. Is it the G Boy? A no problem market maker, buy sell models. Thank you for coming. The G Boy, is it better for non-action vlogging indoors than an iPhone? Better. I don't know. Interesting question. I think it's sometimes if I'm kind of like in Go3 mode and I've got it on me, either in Action Pod or on here, but it's kind of a habit that you have to kind of build, I think, to have it on or in the hat clip or like I'm going to use my Go3 today. The thing about your phone is that it's always there on you. The good thing about this is that you can be hands-free with it. You can just set it going and then do whatever it is you're going to do. The only problem with the Go3 is that you now have to remember to switch it off. Whereas with the Go2, with clip length already built in and those options of 15 seconds and 30 seconds, you could just do that and get the clip and you're done. The Go, which is the video that I put out a couple of days ago, is that you had interval video as well. So you can just set it on an interval. You can say, hey, record 15 seconds every 2 minutes and keep going for 4 hours. And then it will just line up all those clips for you. You can review them later on and make a little video or whatever it is that you want to do, social video or a little vlog with a voiceover. That's not there anymore. And that's really disappointing. So I don't know. Depends kind of like what you're doing. If you're kind of like, if it's a Go3 hour, Go3 day, I think the Go3 is great. I really, really like it. I have my iPhone with me more often. So yeah, I probably get other moments captured on that too. I hope that answers your question, G-Boy. Stefan, hey man, nice to see you. Stefan lives in New Zealand, in Wellington, just up the road from me as well. Hi to you too. How good will the Go3 be if I have other content in other formats? I want to do some hockey footage for my team I coach. So you need to know that, so with the Go3 and the other Go cameras as well, is that you can choose your kind of point of view. So you can get ultra wide and you can get kind of action cam mode, and you can get a linear mode as well, which is kind of like more flat zoomed in footage. And you can, if you're recording that in free frame or what used to be known as pro video, you can change the point of view after you've actually shot it in the render. So you can go zoom in and out, zoom in and out. So that might be quite cool. Depending upon what you're going to use it for, though, an iPhone might give you better zoom options. So if you've got like an iPhone 14 Pro, you've got 3 times zoom. There's rumors that the iPhone 15 Pro Max Pro is going to have like some kind of periscope zoom function. There are only rumors at the moment, but it's going to be an expensive device, but it could have up to 10 times zoom. You can get other cameras that are going to do that for you that will have 10 times zoom. So it really depends upon what you're going to need in terms of your output. So I would say, yeah, the Go3, Go2 might be adequate for you, but I would look at options that might have a zoom for you as well. No lag with screen protector, drone 360 world test, and worth the £10. Been saved 3 or 4 times with the one on my Hero 10. Nice, good tip. Hopefully, I'll be getting one of those soon then. Comes with 2 in the box. 2 what in the box? 2 screen protectors. Wow. Yeah, 20. Thank you. Is that what you're talking about? 2 in the box. I didn't get any of those. 25 people in here. Hit that like button, says Kurt05. I think so too. Hit that like button. There's only 10 likes on this video. Come on, people. Get some more than that. UK Today. Hi, Sarb. Great reviews. Hi, UK Today. Thank you so much. This camera is great for me as I'm approaching 70 and getting shaky hands in my old age. Oh, fantastic. Get that stabilization on. I think standard should be fine for shaky hands. I don't think it has a shaky hand setting, but thank you for the tip. Nice to have you here. Adrian, thank you so much, Sarb. I have to run, but look forward to seeing more videos. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for coming today. I will wind this up in about 5 minutes from now. Okay, everyone. One thing I don't like is that it's white. I wear a lot of black. I thought about coloring in the white on the front sides with a black Sharpie. Any thoughts? I wouldn't do that. You don't know how that's going to age. That could look really bad after it's been out in the sun for a while. Yeah, I think I think in my initial video, it's kind of got a weird 90s vibe. This whole design thing. You can get skins. You could get skins for the Go2, where you could kind of like pattern this up a bit. But they didn't have any plain blacks or anything like that. It would be interesting if they brought out a black edition of this, or maybe different color special editions. They didn't bring out a Minions edition. I don't know if anybody had a Minions edition one. It was quite cool, but I don't know if I want to have it on all the time. But yeah, black edition of this would be quite interesting. But it's kind of distinctive too. The Go has always been in white. But it would be interesting if they had a special edition in black. I wonder how that would sell. I think that there is a market for it. I think you're right. Yeah, coloring just the camera, not the pod. I know, no. Yeah, I see what you mean. Jay King, hey, nice to see you here. Just joined. Sorry if this is a repeat question. What is your preferred editing workflow for Go2, Go3 footage combined with other footage? Mobile app, Studio, and Premiere Pro with GoPro plugin. Good question. You might want to go back to the beginning of the live stream. I'm probably going to wind this up in about 5 minutes or so. But long story short, I did and have used and will continue to use the mobile app as my main workflow for Insta360 footage. When I want to put stuff out on YouTube, which is like comparison stuff, I use Desktop Studio because that exports in the highest quality. You can't stitch a video together in desktop using Desktop Studio though. That's really just kind of like for processing the video as it comes out of the camera. So then I export that in ProRes, and where I do all my editing is actually on my iPad using an app called LumaFusion. So yeah, I did have Adobe Premiere Pro back in the day in 2019, 2020. It was costing me too much money. I didn't like being tied to a desktop, to be honest. And my life was such that I really wanted a mobile workflow, and that included my editing as well. So LumaFusion has done really, really well for me. It's does 95% of all the things I want it to do, and the 5% I can live with. So yeah, that's broadly what my workflow is like. The nice thing about the Go3 is I can just take the 2.7K footage using a USB-C to C data cable that I use with my Samsung T7 SSD, and then just drop that footage straight into my iPad in a folder, and then I can just drop that straight into LumaFusion. That works really, really well for me. Hope that answers. Stefan, I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max and a cheap Sony camcorder. The Sony is 1080p, but I want to look at different angles. Thanks, that helps a bit. I would upgrade your Sony camcorder in that system. That's what I would look to do. I would get something that's got a better zoom in there as well, with some stability built in. Kurt, I found a screen protector in the box with the screen protector, not the camera. Ah, got you now. All right, that's cool. All right, so you get 2 screen protectors for that, for when you buy it. Okay, cool. Nice to know. For G-Boy, for vlogging at home, is the video better than the iPhone Pro? Different, I would say. I think it's different. You have the vivid kind of like color profile. I think that's GoPro like. If I remember, I had a conversation with Insta360 a while ago now, a couple of years ago, and they're really trying to figure out the science, the color science that attracts people to GoPros, and not replicate that, but improve upon that. And I think that's what they go for with that vivid profile. So you get kind of like a very action camera kind of color science built in, but I think it has a pretty distinctive look. Sometimes I use standard, I have to say. Sometimes if I want a bit more of a traditional look, I'll use the standard color profile on the Go cameras. And that, I think, looks more like the iPhone kind of like standard color profile as well. So I think they're different beasts. They produce different kinds of footage. I think one big tip that I will give people, if you're listening now, if you're still here, if there's one thing that I think you should change on your Go 3 and your Go 2, is just take the sharpness down a level. Take it down to medium sharpness, and I think you'll get a little bit more pleasing footage than if you have it. And I think the default is actually high sharpness. So just have a double check on that and see where that setting is, and just experiment with that. And I think you'll find that medium sharpness probably looks a little bit better. John Morritt, I'm lost a bit. How do I set up the timer for time lapse? I've looked. So it's in a weird place. So do the swipe down when you turn your camera on first, and then look at. Well, let me just do it now. I'll show you. This is free. I won't charge you extra. So yeah, swipe down, and it's there. You see that little alarm clock or there? That's where you set the time capture. So if you press on there, time capture on or off, switch it on, and then choose your mode. So it says shooting mode, and then you can choose it's video, free frame video, time lapse, photo, interval photo. All right, so that's where it is. It's actually in your set. It's a weird place for it to be. That's where it is. Hope that helps. 100% they should have a black edition. There you go. Tell Insta360, write the comment. 100% there should be a black edition. Keep writing it. I did get a black silicone skin for my Go 2. It's only a matter of time, and it didn't affect the pendant. The only thing I would say about the silicone skin is that it's not going to help any overheating problems that you have. Silicone is an insulator. What you want is the heat leaving the device, not being kept in the device. That's why I always avoid silicone skins for anything that I have. They may look cool and they may be cheap, but they really don't help with heat management. That's my experience of them anyway. John, great. Glad that helped. We're at 1:28. I've got 2 minutes left. Thank you, Plant Pot Killer. That's great. Nice to get a sub. If you have found this helpful today, I've really enjoyed it. Do you want to see more from me of these live streams? Because I actually really enjoyed doing it. Let me know in the comments below. Hit me up with a subscription. Make sure you hit a like. Use my affiliate link if you want to buy a Go 3 after this. That would be really appreciated. I love that. They're on the top line of all my videos. They're in the description. What else did I want to say? I think that's it. I think what I'll do is I'll kind of like use another bit of software that I've got to maybe create some shorts out of this. So expect to see a little bit of this content out there on my shorts feed as well. Please do keep coming back. I'm really loving getting back into YouTube again. I'm actually really impressed with this device. There are some things that I think need fixing with it, but I actually do think it's a really good device. And I'm really looking forward to my trip to Japan. I'll keep you updated on that. If you're interested in that kind of like mashup between travel and tech and the sorts of things that I take with me to make capturing these experiences really easy so that you can kind of like really be in the moment, but also enjoy the capturing as well, let me know. I'll probably be producing some guides as well and putting them up on my channel. So guides to various different places in Japan, as well as some vlogs and some like shorts as to kind of what I'm up to as well. Thank you everyone for coming. Lots to see you, lots of people here. I really love being here today. What we need is a t-shirt that has patterns on it that camouflages the Go2 Go3 camera. Tearing down a mountain on a bike, it gets cold. Yes, it does. Yep. The silicone thing might help for the camera then. Hey Gareth, thanks for the subscription. Hey Adam Jot, cool. Hey Stefan, nice. Let me know what you end up getting. Awesome, awesome. Thanks everyone. It's been wonderful. I'm gonna end it there because otherwise I could keep going forever. See you around and come back to the channel, have a look at all the videos, and keep watching for more. Cheers everyone. That is. Have a great day, evening, night. Sleep well.